Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hey there, hi there, ho there, and welcome to my newest Let's Play on this channel. We're going to be playing none other than Fire Emblem 7, the Blazing Sword, which was released in the United States as Fire Emblem, as it was the first Fire Emblem game to ever be released in English. So, I'm going to start a new game here. We're going to be playing Eliwood's hard difficulty. It's the difficulty that I'm the most used to, I have the most knowledge of, and it's one of the actual challenging parts of this game. On normal mode, this game I think is very easy, so hopefully this will give us a bigger challenge. So here we go. Yes, we're going to create a tactician, because if we don't, you know, well, there are some special items that we can only get if we decide to create a tactician. One of those being Apha's Drops, which is an excellent item that will help us a lot. So let's just be Rush. I hate these old keyboards that are organized alphabetically. Well, I was born in September, and I am male. Yes, those are the settings I want to use. We'll be skipping the story, which luckily is a lot easier in these games than in in Final Fantasy 15, which gave us some trouble. But the first thing I'm going to do is turn animations to 2, fast game speed, max text speed, window color 3, because I like that one the best. Perfect. Alright, so first what we're going to do is take a look at these characters and give them a rating. So, without further ado, let's begin with the main character of this game, Eliwood. He is a Lord class character, meaning he can only equip swords until he promotes, and these are his base stats. This is his inventory, and this is his weapon rank. Now, unbelievably so, Eliwood starts with a C in swords, which doesn't really mean a lot if you, like, don't think about it a lot. A C in swords means that Eliwood can use a lot more swords than you think he can as soon as he starts off. Like, the lowest weapon rank you can join with is an E, and a lot of characters do join with an E weapon rank, but Eliwood starts the game with weapon level C, and he has a special preferred sword, that PRF means preferred, that only he can use, that its weapon might is doubled against cavaliers and armored knights. So that's nice. It has 40 uses too, unlike Binding Blade's 20 use rapier, so that's pretty nice. But these are his base stats. I'll put his growth rates up on the screen here. He's got 80% HP, 45% strength, 50% skill, 40% speed, 45% luck, 30% defense, and 35% resistance growth. Now, his resistance being higher than his defense growth, I think is funny, because his starting defense is 5% higher than his starting resistance, so it'll take until, I don't know, like, at least until he's many levels in, after being promoted, even. His base stats are pretty shaky. His strength, particularly, is a little low. He does double some enemies in this chapter, which is good, but he doesn't one-round them, which is pretty bad. And if he doesn't get lucky with his strength level ups, he'll be doing pretty inconsistent and rather shaky damage here. His constitution is fine. Swords are very light, so constitution doesn't matter a whole lot when using swords. There are a couple special swords, like the Armor Slayer, that are pretty heavy, but that doesn't really matter too much. The thing about Eliwood is that all of his growths are around 50%, except for his defense and resistance, so he'll either turn out really good because you got lucky with that, like, coin flip aspect of it, or he'll turn out really bad because you won't get lucky in the coin flip aspect. So I'm going to give Eliwood a 5 out of 10. He's just okay. The next character we're going to talk about is Lowen. Lowen is a cavalier. He can use swords and lances. He's got an iron sword and a javelin, and D ranks. Well, this is our first cavalier. He has better base stats than Eliwood does. That 7 strength really does mean a lot, and 7 defense as well. Also notice Lowen's movement. Being a Cavalier means your movement is excellent, and Lowen is no different. His Constitution is also very good, meaning he won't get weighed down by many weapons. Here are Lowen's growth rates: 90% HP, 30% strength, 30% skill, 30% speed, 50% luck, 40% defense, and 30% resistance. Herein lies Lowen's biggest issue. Lowen starts off with good stats in strength, speed, and skill, but he grows pretty poorly in those stats, 30% across the board. His bulk is excellent, specifically his HP. I believe he has the highest HP growth in the entire game. And he has a good base HP to back it up too. So his HP will grow very quickly. He'll likely get a point of HP per every level up. But his damage is a little too shaky for me to call him amazing, even though he's in the best class in this game, so I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 here. Here's Rebecca. Rebecca is an archer, and she is pretty bad. Awful bases: 4 base strength, 6 base speed, 5 base skill, awful defensive stats, 5 con, 5 move. She is just bad. Terrible bases, awful damage, and an awful class to boot. Archers attack from a distance with their bows, and bows suck. Bows are terrible. Notice how Rebecca's Constitution means she gets almost weighed down by the weakest bow in the game. Well, here's your growth rates anyway. 60 HP, 40% strength, 50% skill, 60% speed, 50% luck, 15% defense, and 30% resistance. Rebecca is fast, and she has decent skill. However, her bases are they just do not cut it. Her base stats don't cut it at all. They're awful. And being an archer means that she can only engage enemies at range. 99% of the enemies in this game can attack at melee range, where Rebecca is a sitting duck. She can't counterattack at melee range. She can only counterattack at 2 range. And it's not like Sacred Stones or Awakening, where you can promote your archers into bow knights so they get swords too. No, Rebecca is locked to bows. She becomes a sniper, and snipers only get bows. So yeah, Rebecca, 1 out of 10. Lowen gets a 7. I think I forgot to mention that. Hello, Marcus. Marcus belongs to an archetype of Fire Emblem units called the Jagan, or Yagan, depending on how you want to pronounce it. God, Marcus is so good. Look at his starting stats compared to everyone else. I'll toss his growth rates up on the screen right now. 65% HP, 30% strength, 50% skill, 25% speed, 30% luck, 15% defense, and 35% resistance. Those are okay, but they're not amazing. They're lower than Eliwood's across the board, except, yeah, they are lower or the same as Eliwood's across the board. And Eliwood is considered to have fairly average growths, but look at his base stats. Those are just amazing. 11 con, which is great, 8 move, amazing, and he is a Cavalier, which means that after certain actions, he can use the rest of his movement. He joins with more powerful weapons, unbelievably good weapon ranks. A, B. Amazing. Lowen gets a 10 out of 10. He will be useful throughout the entire... Oh, Lowen. Marcus gets a 10 out of 10. He will be useful throughout the entire game. For real. But anyway, let's begin. So the objective here is to seize this gate. The map layout here, it's mostly axes and 2 archers. These are brigands. There are no playable brigands in this game. But they're just... these guys are pretty basic. They have iron axes. I believe there aren't any steel axes here. Yeah, this isn't Binding Blade. Everyone here's got an iron axe. No hand axes, so we don't have to worry about range. The only range we have to worry about are these archers. This vendor only has vulneraries, which is a very basic healing item. I don't believe that will be necessary, and this village contains some gold for us. So let's be on our way. We're going to chip this brigand with Rebecca. Yeah, like right after I say that Rebecca sucks, we immediately use Rebecca to deal some chip damage to this brigand. I will never give any characters a flat 0 out of 10, because I think that every character can do something, every character can be used, every character is useful in some way. Every character can do something, and Rebecca's point is to deal chip damage during the opening chapters of the game when no one else can use ranged attacks, but her damage output is so poor that often she doesn't even chip very well. Alright. Yeah, Fire Emblem is turn-based, which means that there is a player phase and then an enemy phase. It's not like Final Fantasy Tactics, for example, where your character, the order of movement for both player characters and enemy characters is based off of the unit's speed. It's just every player character moves and then every enemy character moves. Alright, Marcus putting in work. And I think it's important to note, too, I don't believe I talked about this, but a character's usability and their usefulness extends far, far, far beyond their starting stats and their growth rates. Their combat, basically. The combat is not the end-all, be-all of Fire Emblem. So as you can see on screen, we've got two new characters. We've got Dorcas and Bartre. So first let's talk about Dorcas. Dorcas is an axe fighter. He has, you know, okay starting stats. A little deficient in the defensive area, but 14 con means he doesn't get weighed down by any axes, which is pretty good. He's got a steel axe, which is powerful, but a little inaccurate, and he joins with an energy ring, which increases magic or strength by 2, vanishes after use, so it's a 1-use stat-boosting item. We'll save it for a certain character later down the line. But let's talk about Dorcas's growth rates. I'll throw those up on the screen right now. 80% HP, 60% strength, 40% skill, 20% speed, 45% luck, 25% defense, and 15% resistance. Overall, I'd say that Dorcas gets a 3 out of 10. He's like Wade from Binding Blade, or like Vake from Awakening. He has really good strength, really good skill, but, I mean, his base speed isn't altogether horrible, but his speed grows so slowly, and his defenses are really bad. I mean, Dorcas can put in good damage early in the game, and he has access to hand axes, which is a really good weapon, but he just doesn't perform well in the long term, so he gets a 3 out of 10. And here's his partner, Bartre. Bartre, from comparing Dorcas and Bartre's stat lines, you might think, oh, well, Dorcas is the fast one with less strength, and Bartre is the slow one with more speed, but actually, believe it or not, their growth rates are the opposite. Dorcas has 20% speed, and Bartre has 40% speed, but look at the difference in their bases. Bartre cannot double attack an enemy that has 0 attack speed. Anyway, let's talk about Bartre's growths. He's got 85% HP, 50% strength, 35% skill, 40% speed, 30% luck, 30% defense, and 25% resistance. So his defenses are much better than Dorcas's, but honestly, I really do not like Bartre at all. He gets a 2 out of 10 from me. His speed is just terrible. He has a 40% speed growth, so on average, for him to even start double attacking enemies, it'll take him 3 level ups to be able to double attack enemies with 0 attack speed. Bartre has the lowest base speed of any unit in this game. He's just so bad. His base strength is fine, his skill is pretty bad. He lays into enemies hard, but he misses pretty often, and his speed is so bad. He gets doubled so much. So honestly, he's very bad. 2 out of 10. Let's chip. See, 79 hit rate. That's pretty shaky. We're gonna feed this kill to Eliwood. Yeah, the thing about Eliwood is you have to bring him to every level. And I know it's a pitfall to be like, oh, well, since you have to bring him to every level, you should, like, focus on building up his stats. But, I mean, Eliwood can become good. So, anyway, oh, I was thinking of Binding Blade. Whoops, this village gives a Draco Shield, or Dragon Shield as it's called here. Increased defense by 2 points, vanishes after use. We're also going to save that. for a different character. So let's just push forward. This is not like a low turn count playthrough or anything. This is just a regular hard mode playthrough. Alright. Let's put in some chip with Beck. Pop. Also, a strange quirk about Fire Emblem 7 is most enemies have 0 luck. Only bosses have any luck, which is strange because luck matters. Like, it sounds dumb, but the luck stat does matter. 1 point of luck gives 1 hit, 1 avoid, and 0.5 critical avoid. So that means that enemies in this game do not have any critical avoid. So you'll be seeing a lot of criticals in this game, many more than you'd see from other Fire Emblem games because enemy critical avoid is extremely low. I don't know why that choice was made. I think people may have complained that maybe Binding Blade was too hard, but I don't think that game is very difficult. I mean, it's not like a walk in the park or anything. It's pretty average Fire Emblem difficulty, but this one's pretty easy. But it's a game I'm very familiar with, so I figured I might as well play it for the channel. Can Eliwood double? No, but he will get a level up. Alright, let's see. What does he get? Luck and resistance, and HP. Why am I not surprised? I mean, luck is okay. Like, luck is considered a dump stat. It is technically the least important stat, but, I mean, having more of a stat is never a bad thing, so as long as he's gaining stats, I'm okay, because it is possible to not gain any stats upon leveling up, which just sucks when it happens. Alright, let's have Bart try hand axe this guy. Ooh, 62 hit, Well, at least he gets 1 point of participation EXP. Alright, I'll just Marcus this guy, because I'm going to push forward with Eliwood. Because Eliwood needs to seize the gate. This isn't like Fates, where anyone can seize gates. Only Eliwood can seize. So that means that if Eliwood gets like the kill on the boss or something, you have to waste a turn, seize, like, so Eliwood can get his movement back so he can seize the gate. Alright. Oof, okay. I should probably also explain the 2 RNG system. So it turns out that the hit rates in this game are rather biased. Let me explain what I mean by that. So, this game, instead of just rolling, for hit rates, instead of just rolling one single number between 1 and 100 and having that determine whether or not the attack lands or not, it rolls 2 numbers between 1 and 100 and takes their average. But unintentionally, I think, this means that hit rates above 50% are actually much higher than 50% because there's more combinations of numbers that average out to above 50% than averages of numbers that come out to below 50%. So that means, so for example, like 80% displayed hit is actually about 93% true hit. So keep that in mind when you see hit rates here, that most of the hit rates that you're seeing, the only true hit rate in this game is if it's exactly 50%. So keep that in mind. What you are seeing may not be the true hit rate. Taking out the archer. Archers are terrible units when they're on your side, but they're very annoying enemies when they're on the enemy's side. So take them out as quickly as you can, because their poking can get can be deceptively annoying, deceptively powerful. So let's keep moving forward here. I don't want to expose Rebecca because, of course, she can't counterattack at melee range. She can only counterattack at long range. Let's see. Does anyone get a level from killing this guy? No, but I'll feed it to Lowen anyway, because Cavaliers are good. Boom! Dead. Alright, perfect. Okay, only the boss. Luckily, we can poke this guy with long-range weapons, because he doesn't have a hand axe of his own, unlike most... Okay, thanks, Rebecca. Unlike most bosses that did in Fire Emblem 6. I don't know. I don't want to... I know that EXP stealing and, like, thinking that EXP stealing is a thing is, like, a big pitfall. But I don't want to actually give this boss XP to Marcus. I think Lowen or Eliwood deserve it more. Let's see. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah! Alright, cool. Grozny is the boss's name. Yeah, he's on a gate, so he gets he gets extra avoid and extra defense, and he heals a little bit at the end of the enemy phase. So, yeah, let's pull Dorcas back. He can't take another hit. Alright. Go, Rebecca. Do some chip. Pow! Really? See, Rebecca is terrible. I just proved it. You can do it. Ugh. Lowen? Yeah, I think Lowen's a better choice here. He's tankier. He can take hits better. Yeah, see that 51% hit is actually like 53%. I believe the closer it is to 75% displayed hit, the higher the hit actually is, like, in terms of, like, residuals. It's a very confusing... It's a pretty weird concept to wrap your head around, that, like, the hit rate that you're seeing is not actually the hit rate, but, you know... Oh, Lowen gets defense. That's pretty good. Defense is a good thing, because Lowen is tanky. Well, he can actually get this kill to Eliwood, which is nice. Oh, but I'll have to waste a turn. Ugh. I don't like wasting turns. I always feel like I can play more efficiently than I do. Strength, skill, speed, luck! That's a great level up! Thank you, Eliwood! That is actually a fantastic level. Alright, so, upon seizing, that will do it for this episode of Fire Emblem 7, Eliwood Hard Mode. On the next episode of Fire Emblem 7 Eliwood Hard Mode, we're going to be doing Chapter 12, not Chapter 2, because this game has 10 tutorial chapters that I didn't play. So, in the next episode, we'll be doing Chapter 12, Birds of a Feather. I'll see you then.